God, Ronnie. Oh my God, Ronnie.
Hey.
So we the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled. We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled.
Okay, so the last time we talked about these issues, I was able to showcase in my Udio video how what appeared to be copyright protected songs were inside of their training set. At least that's what it appeared to be based on the output. And if you missed that video, you can click on the link right below and watch and judge for yourself. But now there's been a pretty big update. The major labels, along with the RIAA, have sued Udio for copyright infringement. And what's even crazier is my Udio video is referenced directly in the lawsuit. So thank all of you guys for sharing that video, liking that video, making it more publicly available to more people. You guys definitely helped move the needle, and now our voices and our concerns are included in what might be a landmark case to help get some clarity on this very important issue. But that's not all. The labels and the RIAA are also suing Suno, the other generative AI music company that's had some interesting outputs. Let's just put it that way. Suno has recently announced that they have secured $125 million in new investment, which they say they'll use to build technology that, quote, amplifies our most precious resource, human creativity. Okay, well, remember that quote, because we'll definitely be coming back to it. Just like with Udio, Suno has built some very impressive technology here, and it leaves many of us wondering how exactly did they also seemingly leapfrog all the competition and all the other AI generative companies and models out there like Stable Audio 2.0 and Meta's AudioCraft, which both have publicly disclosed where and how they've licensed their music data. Is Suno's AI model, the actual tech itself, just that much more impressive and capable? Or did Suno just skip all of the trouble of getting consent and licensing the music that they've trained their model with? I don't know. I have no insight as to what's going on behind the scenes over there. Because once again, Suno, just like Udio, is yet another company that is not disclosing the source of their data or if they secured licenses to train off of it. And my hope is that the lawsuit that just got filed will force some clarity on all of this. But until that day happens, the internet is going to be left to do its internet thing. So let's dive in now. Let's jump in and let's take a listen to some of the interesting outputs that we've discovered using Suno's model. So this was a Reddit post where an anonymous user shared a track he had generated with Suno's model that had a familiar sounding producer tag at the start of it. And just in case you're not familiar, a producer tag is just like a vocal trademark. It's an audio trademark that gets put into the start of a track to let the listener and the audience know which producer made the beat. And you've probably heard many of them. They sound something like this.
We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled.
Oh my God, Ronnie.
Hey.
What's that on that beat, ho?
Okay, let's go back to that Reddit post and take a listen to what the user generated accidentally using Suno's model. And what I mean by accidentally is that this user was not trying to intentionally get a producer tag to come out of Suno's model. He simply used the prompt mellow trap and then put in the lyrics to, surprisingly, a song from the Game of Thrones soundtrack from season 2. And this is what Suno's model spit out. The user thought it sounded familiar, and then he figured it out. It's a producer tag from CashMoneyAP, which is a French producer and songwriter with credits that include Roddy Ricch, Lil Skies, Gucci Mane, among others. And that wasn't the only instance of CashMoneyAP's tag getting spit out by Suno's model. Here's another one. How is Suno's model able to generate what sounds like a sampled producer tag out of its model if it didn't train off of CashMoneyAP's music? Pure coincidence? And I'm really curious, how does CashMoneyAP feel about hearing his producer tag coming out of Suno's model? And you know, it doesn't just stop there. Here are some more really interesting examples of what sound like copyright protected producer tags coming out of Suno's model. These were shared with me by one of our subscribers here on the channel named Jay, who prompted Suno and shared these results with me.
Honorable seatbelts. Honorable seatbelts. Honorable seatbelts. Taj money. Taj money. Taj money.
Yeah. Buzz it on that beat, oh. Buzz it on that beat, oh. Buzz it on that beat, oh.
Mike will meet it. Mike will meet it. Mike will meet it.
I got some.
Nick, you're stupid.
It's like
Nick, you're stupid. Nick, you're stupid.
Oh my god, Ronnie. Oh my god, Ronnie. Oh my god, Ronnie. Oh my god, Ronnie.
Hey.
Young Chop on the beat. Young Chop on the beat. Young Chop on the beat.
We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled. Yeah, we the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled. We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled.
As I'm editing this video, I just realized that many of you will probably be assuming, well, whoever prompted this probably just did it hundreds or thousands of times and literally just cherry picked all the ones that coincidentally sounded like the original producer tags, which is a fair point. However, the subscriber shared with me this track where they literally just entered a list of producer tags as the lyrics using the prompt simply as trap. And this is what Suno's model was able to spit out.
Taj money.
We the best music.
We the best music.
Another one. DJ Khaled. Metro Boomin wants some more. Just like a rolling note.
Oh my god, Ronnie.
So as you can hear, within one track, the actual voice that Suno's model is generating is changing from producer tag to producer tag. Now, it didn't get every single one of these tags absolutely correct in terms of matching it to what sounds like the original producer tag, but the point I believe stands that this model tends to try to match these prompts with what sounds like copyright protected producer tags. And if none of that was convincing enough, I think this next one really takes the cake. Here's one that I personally prompted. I tried to see if I could get Suno to recreate the Daytrip producer tag. If you're not familiar, Daytrip is a two-man producer group made up of Denzel Baptiste and David Burrell, and their producer tag sounds like this. And before I play it, notice that there's a stutter effect on the word day. Now, when I prompted it, as you can see, I did not include that stutter. I didn't repeatedly type in the word day at all. And I generated actually 10 tracks using the exact same prompt that you see here on your screen. But just listen to what happens to 7 of the 10 generations that I got out of Suno. Again, we have to ask, why is it that 70% of the time Suno's model is stuttering the word day when I did not prompt it to do so? Could it be that there's a producer tag somewhere in Suno's dataset that it is trying to reach into and recreate? So you've heard for yourself. You can be the judge on whether or not you feel that copyright protected music is within Suno's training dataset. That is what this current lawsuit being filed against them will hopefully get us some clarity on. But you guys know me, I like to ask questions. So here's a couple. First of all, how exactly is Suno's model able to pull this off? We are told by so many generative AI companies that they are not storing any data. But if that's true, then how is it that Suno's model seems to be able to generate and recreate and pull up what sounds like copyright protected sound recordings? Secondly, did they train off of copyright protected tracks that contained these producer tags? And is that how this model was able to source and reference those producer tags? And third, should we be thinking about models like Suno's as more of a modern day sampling machine, albeit on steroids, because many times it can recreate what sounds like copyright protected music in a way that masks the original sonic quality of the artist or producer tag? We can also think of these models as sampling machines on a spectrum. From one side, as I showed you in this video, you've got a direct copy like the CashMoneyAP producer tag. Then moving a little to the right, you have something like one of those DJ Khaled producer tags, where Suno's models seems to be able to mask the original source by maybe merging, blending, amalgamating his voice with many others in the training data.
We the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled.
And then we move to the right side of the spectrum, where Suno's model does seem to be generating quote unquote new voices that don't sound like popular artists that we know, but are those voices basically the result of dozens, hundreds, maybe even thousands of copyright protected voices in sound recordings that have just been masked and altered using this new sampling on steroids technology? Again, without transparency or any answers here from Suno, lawsuits had to be filed. And of course, if you want to be kept up to date on the status of these lawsuits and these important issues, you know that you can click subscribe here and get those updates right from this channel. But now let's go back to that quote that Suno had released after they had announced they had secured $125 million worth of investments to say that they were celebrating our most precious resource, human creativity. Let's think about the value proposition that a company like Suno or Udio really offer the marketplace. The technology itself of an AI model, meaning all the GPUs, the electricity, the training, the fine-tuning, the feedback, all of the effort and resources that it takes to really use and develop one of these models is definitely valuable. And regardless of the data or the music that it gets put into it, it itself is certainly bringing value to the marketplace. But what about that data, that music that does get fed to train an AI model? How important is that to the output of any particular AI model, and how much value is that data really bringing to the equation? Well, from my understanding, an AI model is nothing without high quality data. It's a garbage in, garbage out kind of a scenario. If you feed it the most premium, organic, and high quality data, which is usually copyright protected works from artists that we all know and love, then you have a higher chance and even an option to produce output that feels and sounds a lot more human and like a product that probably more consumers would even want to use. And this may explain why Stable Audio's model sounds like this. Not meaning to disparage them at all, but what I love about them is they have disclosed where they got their data from, and it was from AudioSpark's 800,000 tracks from a stock licensing site. I'm sure there's some great quality music in AudioSpark's catalog, no doubt. But is it really the same quality of music and data that is on Spotify with the 11 million artists to choose from? So I would argue that the quality of the data that's fed to an AI model is at least 50% of the value proposition. So we could think of Suno's value as half the neural nets, the AI technology itself, and half an undisclosed source of very high quality, potentially copyright protected music that may or may not have been licensed. And the entire point of this video is to try to help convince you and show you how much value we copyright holders, especially those of us that have commercially viable copyrighted music in the world on the internet, how much value we can offer to a company like Suno or Udio. They really do need high quality data to make a model that's worth anything. And for those of you that are maybe new to the channel, you don't know me, I have about 1,000 songs, copyright protected, of course, mostly instrumental, some vocal, in various production music libraries that has helped me secure over 8,000 TV and film placements in my career. So yes, I've got some skin in this game. If we are truly in the midst of building new million or billion-dollar companies or even new industries that require high quality copyright protected music, is there really no room for us to include copyright holders in the profits of these new industries and companies? Are we that one expense that an AI company just cannot justify paying for? Are we being too fussy or greedy if we are demanding consent to train off of our music? And if we are providing 50% of the value proposition to a generative AI company, should we be demanding at least 50% of the revenue. As Suno has stated, human creativity is our most precious resource. And I would agree. So doesn't that human resource deserve some respect and consideration? And not just in empty words in a press release, but in actions, in agreements, in licensing, in consent. So those are my thoughts. And stay tuned because this story is just getting started. We have just now begun the process of getting some clarity around the fair use debate on generative AI and music training. If you want to be kept up to date with all of the developments in this space and in these stories, you know what to do. Click on that subscribe button. And now it's your turn. I love to hear what you think. What did you think about this video? What are your overall thoughts on this lawsuit? What do you think the chances are of the major labels actually succeeding or not? This is your time to shine. I would love to interact with you guys. Of course, keep it respectful. I do ask that. But agree or disagree, we are here. We are all in this boat together. This is a really interesting and challenging time for all of us. And I'm just really grateful to be a part of the conversation.